steam is already considered an ideal medium for energy transfer and reuse, especially in sustainable industrial plants. What do you think about its future? Can steam continue to evolve with new technologies, or do you see any potential alternatives that might replace it in coming years?
So steam as a utility media has always been evolving, and I'll give you a simple example that why am I saying steam is still evolving? We still have process plants which have very engineering which is very poor, management practices, standard operating practices which are also compromised. So you have a specific steam consumption which is very poor. You have many plants where the specific steam consumption is good, and there are many steam plants where the specific steam consumption is ideal or best. And why I'm saying steam is evolving is because there is a big challenge in ensuring that those plants which have very less exposure to good steam engineering practices have to move to average plant consumption levels, and the average plant consumption levels have to move to the best plant consumption levels. While that's one way of looking at how steam has been evolving and how we are looking at input energy being lowered for each process, and that's we have to then be mindful about what's happening on the technology front of equipments which are using steam.
Right.
So there is a lot of work which is definitely happening in the space of original equipment manufacturers coming together, looking at what is that by which I can have the least possible energy input to get the best possible outcome from my equipment.
Right.
And there are two strategies which equipment manufacturers adopt. One is to look at what is the change in process technology. You know, there are these thin film evaporation technologies. Steam-based ejectors are now out.
Right.
Nobody would use a steam-based ejector.
Right.
So there are definitely reasons to believe that steam consumptions would be reduced. While I say this, let's look at what is SDG talking to us. SDG is saying that we would have to look at energy which is optimal for what we do today and is available for the future generations.
Right.
SDG is not saying that we will have nothing which will be consumed.
Right.
That's not possible. Energy has to get you the output. So I'm saying that, while we are looking at how people are trying to optimize it from the process aspect, how people are trying to optimize it in terms of best practices, we will have to be mindful that steam-based systems would also try to get experimented to non-steam-based utilization areas. And if there is a chance to do so, we would have to really be clear that what is the production outputs and what are the process efficiencies and how is the cost economics playing a role.
And
I'm talking about hydrogen-fired boilers for quite some time now.
yeah.
But you don't see them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not viable yet. Yet. Now that word yet says that till that technology does not come up to that speed, where you again have clean energy at a viable cost, again something which Sustainable Development Goal talks about, it's not going to be viable. Till that moment, you are going to depend on water being converted into steam, because water is still the cheapest form of utility which actually gets converted into steam. So unless you have that disruption also coming in,
Right.
you would really find it difficult. And everybody is now talking about zero liquid discharge, right?
Yeah.
So we are trying to get into ensuring that every drop of water is actually now what we are accounting for in each process.
Right.
So every drop of steam will have to be accounted for in each process industry.
But I think even in the context of renewables, even if we consider it that way, even if with respect to future developing technologies and so on, because of the myriad advantages that steam offers, it's a good to fair bet that steam will continue to play the intermediary.
Okay.
Irrespective of what the input energy source is, it could be solar, photovoltaic, electricity for all that we can. But ultimately, if you want to heat a process, steam is the best.
Steam is the best.
There is really no alternative there.